Hello, it's Sunday, July 13th, and here's the garden tour. So there have been a couple improvements this week. We have 2 new rain barrels. One of them's over here, and I'll go into detail on the other one when we get there. Cukes are doing okay. I think one of these vines is dead, but the other's still cranking, so that's fine. The tomatoes are really getting quite large. Hopefully some of them will be ripe soon. The only thing I've been able to harvest so far are sun gold tomatoes, which are little tiny cherry ones, and they're delicious. I think I'll grow those again next year. Unfortunately, they are a hybrid, so I can't save seeds from them. The corn is looking excellent. I'm pretty excited about this. At my bonus parents' house, I helped them prune a fig bush, and this branch had rooted a little bit, so I took it home and stuck it in the dirt, and despite this looking very dead, some part of it's alive and presumably rooted, so yeah, I think that was a success, and we'll be able to plant a little fig tree soon. Okay, so a lot more of the corn has tasseled. This corn is only supposed to get like 6 to 9 feet high, but that, I don't know. I think that's a lot taller than 9 feet at this point. And somewhere here, earlier today when I was watering, I noticed this tiny, cute as could be, ear that has started to form. So each of the silks needs to get pollinated from the tassels, and then each of those silks actually goes down to the cob and is responsible for an individual ear of corn. So that's pretty neat. Last week I also did an experiment where I sprayed some of the stalk with chalk spray paint to see how fast it was growing. So when I spray painted it, this was squished together. This is, I think, like 6 days of growth. So like further down on the stalk, it's not growing like crazy, but as you go higher and higher, like the gaps are bigger and bigger. So here used to line up with here. So it's really going great. And that blue Hubbard squash that's planted in the middle there, it's crawling all over the place. I'm probably gonna have to convince it not to grow up the stalks of corn, but we'll see. The tomatoes are really growing very nicely. I hope they start ripening soon, because this is getting a little ridiculous. It's mid-July. And as I was giving the tour last week, I realized, like, oh, this is really stupid that I have no way of identifying, or more realistically, remembering what everything is. So I added tags to each of the tomatoes. So this one's a mortgage lifter, and there's a couple varieties that I saved seeds from last year. So this is one. So it's a variety that we bought from some seed company. We grew them here, and then I took a nice tomato from last year's harvest and saved the seeds, and now that's this tomato. So this is the first generation of like our, I guess, variety of our strain, who knows, of the mortgage lifter. And there's a couple others out here that we've done that too. These are chocolate pears. That's another one we saved from last year. And we also saved some Hungarian heart tomatoes, and this is an absolute monster, and it's not even like close to being ripe yet. That is definitely going to be over a pound when it's ready to harvest. There's 8 types of tomatoes over here. One of them is not like the other. That's this little guy, and that is the only determinate tomato we have in the garden, and this is actually the first determinate variety I've ever grown. It's a Roma tomato, and determinate tomatoes grow a specified amount, and they set their fruit all at once, and then that's it. Everything else here is indeterminate, so they grow and grow and grow, and just as long as you're taking care of them, they'll continue to produce fruit. This is the sun gold, and it's almost over the top of these weird trellises. Another reason I did the tags was we had an unfortunate incident, or well, our dog sitters had an unfortunate incident when they were sitting for us. Once I said, oh, feel free to eat whatever you want in the garden. I didn't really specify what peppers were hot and what were not, so they just were out here and bit into a pepper that was one of the hotter varieties, so oops. So for the pepper ones, I also wrote on them kind of the heat level. So this is a shishito plant and it's mild heat. And yeah, some of them are coming in really nicely. Peppers are usually stragglers around here, but that's okay. The lima beans are doing excellent. I weeded around them today. I put chopped straws, mulch down around some of them, and then I ran out of chopped straw. I think one of these has a little lima bean pod on it. Yeah. So it doesn't feel like there's any lima beans in there, but yeah, that's the first one I've noticed so far. So maybe it'll get figured out. This bed still needs to be dealt with. The green beans are coming in nicely. We planted like 2 beans per spot in like a figure 8 pattern around the Oyers, and didn't really have great germination success, so I think I'll throw a couple more in there. And we also pulled the rest of the carrots out of this bed, and the only thing that's left in here are weeds and parsnips. Have to look up when those are ready still. And this is a volunteer tomato, so we're just gonna let that fly. Did I weed any more of this other than that initial couple feet? No. So the weeds are looking great, but also that's the peppermint balsam that really started to flower nicely over the last week. It always reminds me of tie-dye. And this is a variegated coxcomb volunteer. So variegated means it's got different colors all mixed in together. So this variety, it's yellow and like pinky red. It's really pretty. Okay, so the other new rain barrels over here. This one's the original one. This one is the new one. So they're daisy chained at the bottom. This one gets fed from the gutter that covers the back half of the second floor, so that's quite a bit of roof. Also, I have in here the AC condensate line fills this. So both of them fill. They're connected at the bottom. This line here is just clear tubing, and I didn't really have a way before of figuring out how much water is in each of these, so this lets me know like what the water level is. Here's where we take the water out. This is an overflow system that comes back over to the gutter here, so I'm pretty excited that we're going to be able to capture more rainwater this year. We're supposed to get rain pretty much all week, so we'll see how much these suckers fill. And in the process of like digging up for that pad, last week I mentioned that these plants aren't really doing great. And the first year this bed was here, we put down stupid weed fabric, which obviously is working tremendously. But in digging up that pad, I got a good look at the soil, and it's like dead. It's full of clay. It actually smelled a little anaerobic when I was digging it up. So I think my strategy here, and I'm not looking forward to this, is removing the weed fabric from under this entire bed. It's not helping the weeds at all, and I think it's stifling the microbial growth in the soil. Okay, and here's one of my favorite things in the garden. It's the borage, which is a friend to bees of all sorts. It's really fun when it's in bloom like this, because it's a hot spot of pollinator activity. And yeah, update for this week, and I'll try to do this again in a week. All right, thanks.